Don't book another campsite until you watch this. What if I told you that the affordable campsite you booked online is going to cost you $40 or $50 more by the time you actually pull out of the driveway? And the worst part is, nobody is going to tell you why until the charge is already on your card. We need to talk about the hidden RV park fees that are designed to ambush your budget. These aren't just taxes. These are specific, strategic charges that campgrounds use to pad their bottom line. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you the exact one-sentence question that I ask every single campground before I book. That one sentence has saved me more money than any discount club, coupon code, or membership I've ever owned. Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to the channel. If you like keeping your cash for fuel, food, and fun, instead of handing it over for surprise administrative charges, stick with me. We're going to break this down in plain English. Let's start with the first fee that absolutely blindsided me early in my RV life. It is lurking in your reservation right now. The extra person fee. Picture this. On one of my very first trips, I found this incredible little campground. It had a great view, the price was right, and everything looked perfect on the website. I booked the site, rolled in, got the rig leveled, set out the chairs, and cracked the cold one. I was relaxing, thinking I absolutely nailed a bargain. Then I looked at the final receipt. There was a charge I didn't recognize. I walked back to the office and asked about it, and they told me it was an extra person fee because I had one more person in the RV than their base rate allowed. Campgrounds love to justify this fee by saying it covers extra wear and tear, more showers, more water usage, and more electricity. But I have to be honest with you. It's very hard to believe that one extra human being used $10 worth of utilities in a single night. If you travel with a large family, or bring friends, or maybe occasionally bring a grandkid or a buddy along for the ride, this fee isn't just an annoyance. It is a budget destroyer, and it adds up incredibly fast. Here's the practical move I make now to avoid this. When I'm on the phone booking, I always ask specifically, how many people are included in the base rate, and exactly what you charge for extras. It's a quick question, but it stops with that little gotcha charge before it ever hits your wallet. Now, let's add a twist to the same concept, because this one still catches veteran RVers off guard. The visitor or guest fee. This one bit me hard when I invited a couple of old friends to swing by my campsite for a barbecue. To be clear, these friends were not staying the night. They didn't need sewer hookups. They didn't need 50 amp or 30 amp service. They just wanted to hang out by the grill for 3 hours. We were grilling, visiting, and having a great time. Later that afternoon, I went to the office and found out I had been charged a guest fee just because 2 human beings walked onto the property to eat a hamburger. Many campgrounds use this to control the population on the property. They don't want the pool or restrooms getting overrun by locals. I understand that logic. But if you don't know that the fee exists, it feels like a slap in the face. So anytime I'm expecting visitors, even for an hour, I make it a habit to ask one simple thing when I book. If I have friends stop by for a couple of hours, do you charge a visitor fee? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes it's $5. Sometimes it's a lot more. But either way, I know the cost before I tell my friends to come on over. Next, let's talk about a fee that feels a lot more like paying for your seat on an airplane. It's called the site lock fee. If you've ever spent 20 minutes looking at the campground map online, you pick out that perfect back-in or throughway spot. Maybe it's on the corner, so you have extra yard space, or maybe it's an amazing lakefront site with a sunset view. You put it in your cart, you book it, and assume that site is yours. I remember one lakeside campground years ago where I thought I had scored the absolute best site in the park. I booked it. I saw the number on the confirmation screen, and I was thrilled. Later, I found out that because I didn't pay the site lock fee, the park reserved the right to move me anywhere they wanted if they needed to shuffle the grid. If I wanted to guarantee that exact lakefront pad I had already fallen in love with, I had to pay extra. From the campground's perspective, this helps them manage their inventory like a game of Tetris. They want the flexibility to move rigs around to maximize occupancy. But from our side, it feels like a surcharge stacked on top of a surcharge. Here's how I handle that site lock fee now. If I absolutely need a specific site, maybe I need satellite reception or need to be near the bathhouse for accessibility, I decide upfront if that fee is worth it, and I just treat it as part of the nightly rate. However, if I'm stopping for a night and feeling flexible, I skip the lock fee. I let them put me wherever they want, and I save money for gas or diesel. The key is knowing that the charge exists before you hit confirm, so you're not disappointed when you arrive and find yourself parked next to the dumpster instead of the lake. Speaking of surprise charges, we have to talk about extra vehicle fees. This is becoming much more common as more of us are towing and bringing a towed or driving a separate car. If you roll into a park with more than one engine, don't be shocked if they add a fee for each additional vehicle. That might mean your truck and your RV are included, but your spouse's car, cargo van, or even a utility trailer you're using for gear costs extra per night. And here's where it gets really interesting in 2025, electric vehicles. On one trip, my buddy brought along an electric car. He used it to carry extra gear and run errands into town. The campground didn't just add an extra vehicle fee. They added an additional surcharge because it was an EV, and they assumed he would be plugging it into their pedestal. Campgrounds are catching on. They know EVs can pull a significant amount of amperage, and some parks now have specific rules or extra costs just for EV charging. Some even ban it entirely at the pedestal. So, if you're traveling with a second vehicle, especially if that vehicle has a battery you plan to charge, you need to call ahead. Ask specifically about their EV policy. That one phone call could keep you from having a massive argument about the electric bill at checkout. Now, let's hit the grab bag of all fees. These are the ones you look at the bill and say, I can't believe they charged for that. I'm talking about pets, fire pits, cleaning fees, and special events. I've seen parks charge nightly fees per dog. I've seen them limit how many dogs you can have. I've even seen a pet cleaning fee automatically added if they suspect your dog might leave a mess. They will tell you it goes towards the dog park maintenance, and sometimes it does. But you need to know that number before you arrive. Also, I stayed at a campground once that charged a cleaning fee for using the fire pit. I'm not talking about leaving trash in it. I mean, I had a standard wood fire, and they billed me extra for the privilege of them scooping the ash later. On top of that, watch out for event fees. Some parks charge premiums for holiday weekends, concerts, or Halloween events on site. Those little fees slip into the total at the end, and if you aren't participating in the event, it feels like wasted money. The fix for this grab bag is simple. When you are booking, take 1 extra minute. Ask them to list every possible fee that could apply. Pets, extra vehicles, visitors, fire pits, resort fees, etc. Have them lay it out so you can decide if that park still makes sense for your budget. Now let's shift gears and talk about the free camping that everybody raves about, Harvest Hosts. I love Harvest Hosts. It's one of my favorite ways to camp because you're staying at farms, wineries, and breweries and museums. It's unique, and it beats a parking lot on any day. But there's a key detail a lot of people miss when they hear the word free. Yes, you're not paying a nightly camping fee to the host. But as a member of the program, the Code of Conduct expects you to spend at least $30 with that host as a thank you for the stay. I remember staying at a beautiful vineyard thinking, what an amazing free night. Then I went inside and I grabbed a couple of bottles of wine. I bought some cheese. I bought a souvenir corkscrew. By the time I walked out, I realized this free stay could cost me significantly more than a basic RV park would have. I didn't regret it at all. I love supporting small businesses. I got great wine out of the deal, but it changed how I plan my budget. When I use Harvest Host now, I build that $30, $40, $50 into the cost of the trip. If you treat it like a trade, buying a product in exchange for a safe place to park, it's an amazing deal. Just don't think of it as zero cost, or you'll be shocked by what you spend in the tasting room. We also have to talk about the big yellow sign on the highway, KOA. The question comes up all the time. Are KOA campgrounds really worth the extra money? The way I look at it, KOA is the franchise chain for camping. You need to know the brand, and you have a rough idea of what to expect, but individual locations can vary widely. I've stayed at KOAs that were fantastic. Spotless restrooms, hot showers, with good pressure, level concrete sites, and fast Wi-Fi. In those cases, the premium price felt worth it, especially after a long, exhausting day on the road. But if you've ever stayed at KOAs that were just okay, they were dusty, tight, and didn't feel worth the premium price tag compared to the mom and pop park down the road. If you're looking at KOA, you need to know they divide their parks into 3 types: Journey, Holiday, and Resort. KOA journey locations are usually near the highway. They're for quick overnights. Get in, sleep, get out. KOA holiday locations are a stay a while setup with more amenities for families. And KOA resorts are their top tier, often with pools, staff-led activities, and a destination feel. You don't need a membership to stay there, but they do have the KOA rewards program. It costs $39 a year and gets you 10% off the daily rate. If you stay at KOAs a lot, maybe a week or two during a year, that discount pays for itself fast. If you hit one a year, it's just another line item. For me, whether a KOA is worth it depends entirely on my exhaustion level. Sometimes I will pay for the reliability. Other times I will find a county park for half the price. Always read the recent reviews before you hand over your card. Okay, this is it. I promised you the big payoff at the start. The one sentence that has saved me more money than any membership or club card. Whenever I call to book a campground right before I leave them my credit card number, I stop and I say this exact sentence. Before we finalize this, can you walk me through every single fee that could apply to my stays so that there are zero surprises at checkout? And then this is the most important part. I stay silent. I let them talk. I listen for extra person charges, visitor fees, pet fees, site lock fees, resort taxes, EV charging fees, and more. If something sounds unreasonable, I have the power right then and there to decide if I want the reservation or if I would rather take my rig and money somewhere else. That single question has saved me from so much frustration and so many nasty surprises on my bills. So here's your simple system going forward. Use loyalty programs only if you travel enough to make the math work. Read the fine print before you arrive, and always ask that magic question before you pay. If this video helped you dodge even one fee on your next trip, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe. It tells the algorithm that this kind of money-saving RV content is worth showing to more people. If you want more tips on boondocking, campground strategy, make sure to subscribe and don't miss the next video. You can find them over here. Also, I'd love to hear your story. If you've ever been hit with a surprise campground charge that made your jaw drop, drop it in the comments so we can all learn from each other's battle scars. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Safe travels and happy RVing.